Hello.
Yes, sir. It's visual.
It is visible. Okay. So now today we'll see how to draw the dendrogram and use this single linkage method. Uh, I mean, you will have to find the clusters and using single linkage technique, and you have to use this Euclidean distance, and you have to draw the dendrogram. Okay, so what is dendrogram? That I already explained. That is a tree-like structure which represents hierarchical technique. Okay, it's a tree-like structure that represent hierarchical technique. Now in dendrogram you could find a leaf. So leaf means there's an individual cluster, and in the root you have one cluster. Okay, and the example that I have already seen, I have drawn it in paint also, that you have seen how to form a dendrogram. I mean how not how to form a dendrogram. I mean what is the look like of the dendrogram. Now a cluster at level 1 is the merger of its child cluster at level I plus 1. That is the thing. So you have to merge them. This is a bottom up approach. You'll have to merge them, and after merging it, then you have to again form a one cluster. Then it keeps continuous till you reach to the root node. So now here you have to find the data. So these are the data points which are given to you. These data points is already given. These are 2D points, x and y, and you have p1, p2, p3, p4. 6 points are there. So your initial job, what will be initial job? You just plot it in two-dimensional space. So x-axis in this horizontal axis will be x-axis, vertical axis will be y-axis. Then you just plot the data. Okay, I'm not going to plot it now. So now you can plot it. Now whenever you are going to plot it, you will have 6 points. You can find these 6 points. Okay. So now you have to find. So your first step is that before applying the single linkage technique, we have to first form a distance matrix. Okay. Now these based on your data points, the size of the distance matrix will be defined. So now how do you find a distance matrix? So to find or to construct a distance matrix, you have to use the Euclidean distance techniques with each and every points. Now you have to calculate this Euclidean distance and you have to create the distance matrix. So now firstly you'll have to compute the distance, like I am just writing here, that is a distance x comma y to a comma b. Okay, that is a, we'll have to have square root of that is a x minus a square plus minus b square. Okay. Now what you have to here, you have to compute the distance with p1. So if there is a difference, then you have the distance. If there is no difference, then you cannot find the distance. Now p1, then obviously it will be 0. Okay. Now you have to compute p1, p2. Okay. Then p2, p2. So actually, if you just plot it, p1, p2 and p2, p1, both are same. So you will have these two parts. One is the lower triangular part, another is the upper triangular part. I mean, the same data. Okay, P3, P2, P2, P3, both are same. So now in the diagonal elements, so you will have the diagonal elements will be 0, because in the diagonal elements you will have P1, P1, P2, P2, P3, P3, P4, P4, P5, P5, P6. So now in this one side of the diagonal element, you have the lower part, and the other side of the diagonal element will have the upper part. Now both are the same data, so you can use any one of them. So now will be considering this lower part of the diagonal elements. One side of the lower part of the diagonal elements. Now you will have, now first you have to compute that is a distance of P1, P2. Okay, P1 and P2. Now if you just compute it, now what you are going to get? Distance of comma P2. It should be, what should I write? Can anyone tell me?
Point 4 minus 0.22 whole square
It will have
plus
square root of 2 0.40 minus 0.22 plus here what should I write? Anyone?
0.53 minus 0.38.
0.53 minus 0.38. Very good. Okay. So now if you just do the calculation, okay, because you have to fill it up and you just tell me the answer. Now one thing I'll just fill it up. It is 0.23. You can check it. Now rest of the thing is calculated and you just tell me this. You just fill it up. You do by yourself and tell me the answer. 0.23 P1 P2. Now P2 P2 it will be 0. Now P2 P3 and P3 P2 both will be the same. Now you have to compute P3 P1. Now can anyone just tell me the answer? This is your distance matrix. What will be the value of P1 P3 or P3 P1?
So the Euclidean distance matrix. So on P3 P1, the answer would be 0.2158.
You do it now. You just plug in with this formula and just tell me the answer.
Yes, sir, I calculated it in Python.
Yes, means how much you're getting? P1 P3?
Sir, at P1, at P3 P1, 0.2158 or 0.22.
It is 0.22 approximate.
22. And at
P3?
P3 P2 it will be 0.14.
Fractional part will be there. Okay. P3 is 0. Okay. Now do for P1 P4.
So P1 P4 is 0.37.
Good. And P4 P2 or P2
P4
P4?
P2 will be 0.19. And next one will be 0.16.
I think it is coming 0.15 for me. It is 0. P1 P4?
P5 P1 will be 0.34.
Correct. Then this is
0.14. And next one will be 0.28. Next one will be 0.28.
right. 0. Next is P6, P1 or P1.
0.24, and next one will be 0.24, and then 0.10, and then it will be 0.22. Next will be 0.39, and then 0.
So now if you see these diagonal element as 0 or now in the it is a Lord triangular matrix. Now or in the upper triangular matrix also you will get the same values. Okay, so we are only considering this Lord triangular matrix. So now this is your distance matrix. Now next step you have to update the distance matrix, because what is the single linkage algorithm says, you have to take the minimum of, okay, you have to take the minimum between this minimum among these 2 points. So that distance that you have to consider. Now to update the distance matrix, what we have to do? Now next job, you have to update Okay, so before update, so I just wanted to tell you, okay, so which one is the minimum element here? Which one is the minimum element here?
P6, P3.
Yes, 0.11. Okay, if you see the Lord triangular matrix, so in the Lord triangular matrix, so your minimum element is 0.11. So this is 0. So I should use it in different color. Oh, sorry. Okay, and this is your P6, P3. Okay, so P6, P3, that is there's a minimum. So now your first clusters that you are going to do, we just draw this dendrogram. You will have okay, so this will be your first dendrogram, that is your tree. And this is your okay. So now these 3 and 6. So now you have to find out the minimum elements and you just put it in a dendrogram, because this is the bottom up approach. I have already told you. You have to just okay. Next is that you have to update the distance matrix. Now how to update it? To update the distance matrix, update the distance matrix. What you have to do? You have to use this formula. Mean of what was there? P3, P6. You have to find P1. Okay. that means distance also be capital, eh? So, otherwise you will have difficulty to understand nomenclature. That is P3 P1 and actually it should be P3 P1 and you have P6 P1 or beyond P6 that you can write it. Okay. So now, can anyone just tell me the answer? Mean of what I should write? Because you have to take now P3, P6 that you are going to have only 1 points, 1 cluster. Okay, because as you can in the first matrix that you have already find out. Now I need to update this distance matrix. So in order to update the distance matrix, so you need to cluster only those points which are closest with each other. That is your job. Okay, so that is why we are going to use this formula. Mean of dist P3, P1 and P6, P1. Now, can just anyone tell me that what will be the minimum value? What I should write? Now P3, P1. What will be the value of this P3, P1? Or pure,
Sir, 0.22.
0.22, comma, and P6, P1?
0.23.
Very good, 0.23. It will return 0.22. Fine. Now you compute it for all the points like this. You have computed for P1. You have computed for P1. Then you have computed for P2, then P3, P4, and P5. Okay. Karo? Now you just tell me this. What will be the value of to update distance matrix? Again, you have to compute mean of distance P3, P6, comma P2. Okay, that is equivalent to mean of distance P3, P2, P3, P2, comma P6. बोलो क्या होगा? Mean of right? Huh?
Sir,
Bolo.
0.15.
Very good. 0.5. That is 0.15. Okay. सुमंतो. খোলা যায় না. আচ্ছা আমি তো একটু ক্লাস নিচ্ছি, আমি একটু পরে ফোন করি তোমার, হবে? হ্যাঁ 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 ওকে. To update, so now you can understand Now to update matrix for cluster P3, P6. Okay, now what you are going to get here? Can anyone tell me? I'm just writing it over here. Here it should be P3, P6. Here it should be P3, P6. Okay, are you understanding me? So now, whatever there is a similarity, then you just merge them up. Then P3 or P6 that has been merged up. So now, can you just fill it? That what changes I need to do here? Just tell me. Bolo. Just tell me the updated distance matrix there. What change I need to do here?
Sir, in the row of P3, P6 and column of P3, P6.
Is it okay? I mean, this matrix. Do you feel that these values are okay? Because you have already done a P3, P6, so P1 is fine. So P3, P6, P2 is things. Okay, now P3, P6 to that you have P4. Now can you see that P3, P6 to P4? How much it is coming? P3, P6 to P4? I mean P3, P4 and P3, P6 to P4 means P3 to P4 and this P6 to P4. How much it is coming? If you do the minimum, are you getting 0.15?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. Now P3, P6 to P5. Now P3, P5 and P6, P5. Are you getting 0.28?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now this is the updated distance matrix. Now this again you have to take this. What is the minimum? So minimum is which one? 0.14. Okay. Now this 0.14 it is between P2 and P5. Yes or no? P2 and P5. Now again to update the distance matrix. Okay, now here P2 and P5 that you have already computed. Now you go to the dendrogram here. This is 2. This is 5. Okay. Now you have again found this another cluster that is a 3, 6 and this is a 2 and 5, P2 and P5. So it can be a one cluster. Okay. Now because for each distance table after updating the distance matrix, you need to find out this minimum, which pair will give it to the minimum distance. Then this pair will be constructed in the form of a dendrogram. Okay. Now again to update the distance matrix, so what you have to do? Again you have to update the distance matrix. Then you have to take this minimum of P2, P5 and minimum of dist of P2, P1, comma P5, P1. So I think okay. So that is minimum of what I should write? Bolo?
So 0.23 into 0.34.
Very good. Very good. That is 0.43. Okay. Now next, what you have to do? P2, P2, P5, P1, P2, P5, P2, P2, P5, P3, P6. Okay. Now, if you can you just fill it up? What I should write the distance matrix? Hmm? I think you follow the process. Can you draw it? You have to follow the same step till you find only one element. Okay. So you have to find P2, P2, P5, P3, P6. Then you have to have this P2, P3, P6, P5 into P3, P6. You can find 0.15. Okay, then you have to have the P2 P5 into P4. Okay, now if you just draw it, you can find just okay. Here you can have four. I mean P4. Then one. Okay. So this is your final dendrogram. Means you have it means that you have first this thing. This data first, then this, then you have this, then this, then you finally have this. Okay, so this is the process. Means you have first P3 P6, then 2 5, then you have to combine them, then you have P3 P6 P2 P5. Okay, only 1 point. Then you have P3 P6 P2 P5, then P4. Then you combine them with the minimum distance. You have P3 P6 P2 P5 P4. Then you have only P1. Then you just merge them. So that is these things. Okay, so every time you have to use it in this way. So here you have to again in the distance matrix you have to having P3 P3 P5. Then again you have to update it. Okay, then from this updation of this matrix you have to again, I mean the way that I have dendrogram from, then after getting P2 P5, then you have again take the minimum. Okay, then which one is the minimum? So obviously the minimum will be in the range of P2 P5 and P3 P6. Okay, so it is a P3 P6. Yeah, here it should be a P2 P5. Here it should be a P2 P5. So there will be intersections, and you can get these things. Okay, I think you just try it. If you're not able to do it, next class I'll tell you this answer. The distance matrix. You have to do by yourself. And in this lab, you will find you have to. So Julita will give it to you one assignment on this dendrogram. That is a very interesting thing. How to draw a dendrogram by using your coding. So this is the methodology that we used to follow. That in this case. So these are the things. So I think clustering is lot many things are there, but basic concept is that we have already explained in the form of a C-means clustering. So if you implemented it properly, then you know the because it is a base clustering algorithm, C-means clustering, and also I like to send you some data. I mean PPT on this clustering, which I haven't sent you. I have a very good C-means clustering PPT. Is there. So Baki the rest of the cluster you can explore by yourself also, as the not it is like this DB-scan method, okay, and other algorithms are there. So it can be used for the research perspective, not for this like a theoretical point of view. I mean this theory point of view. So theory point of view means this whatever I wanted to give it to you in terms of the mathematical framework that I already explained to you. Okay, I hope that it is clear to all of you. So how to form a dendrogram. So as you are using this single linkage, if you can use this, there is a complete linkage, average linkage. The process is same, and you need to form the dendrogram in this way. Okay, so now I have to be a little bit of fast because I have to complete. There is a very important machine learning algorithm. It's called the hidden Markov model, HMM. It will take a couple of lectures, probably three lectures that it will have that I need to take. And then 1 week will left for this introduction to the deep learning algorithm. Okay, as I already promised you to explain you one class or one or two class for deep learning algorithm. So HMM is a very good tool. So although as we this semester we don't have much time to complete, otherwise I would have been able to give it to you on a very good assignment on speech recognition problem, how to solve speech recognition problem. You can say natural language processing using hidden Markov model. This is a wonderful tool that people are using. This is an hidden Markov model. This is a stochastic process, or HMM is called the memoryless process. Okay, if you know the concept of the finite state machines or the sequential machine, the sequential machine is called this is a finite state machine. So from the concept of the finite state machine, this hidden Markov model concept came up, and it is a it will be used. Actually, it is used as a prediction tool. I mean, in the weather forecasting method, rainfall prediction, okay, or any other prediction that you can apply for this thing. So you can use in hidden Markov model. Basically, this model is important to handle these temporal sequences. So now this model is important to handle these temporal sequences whenever you have the data where the time is involved. So because the speech whenever you are uttering something, they are involving some phonemes. Okay, and for each time instance, so you can I mean speak in the different words. And this it can be constructed in the form of the different phonemes. Okay, or if you are to extract some feature, this is called the Fibonacci frequency, where the time is involved. Okay, for t+1 tth time, t+1 time. Okay, then next time that you have to predict. So that is called, this is in temporal sequences. So now whenever in your applications that time is involved, or if you have the temporal sequences or temporal data, then you have to go for some good algorithms. Okay, so that is a HMM is one of them that you can use it, because this process is involved using the concept of the sequential machine. Because as you know, in the sequential finite state machine, that you have some input, and from the input, you are taking a input. On seeing the input from one state, it will goes to the some other state. Suppose you are in the current state A, now you would like to go to the next state B. How we are going to do it? The machine would see the input, and then there will be have some transitions from one state to another state. And in the finite state machines or finite state automata, you have seen that we need to have there is a transition table, state transition table was there. Okay, so now you have to form a state transition table from one state to another state. That how we are going to propagate. Okay, so here also we'll be using the same concept. Like you can use the concept of there's a huge application. One of the applications that I already explained, that is called the speech recognition. Next application that you can have the activity recognitions. So activity, you can see these the different daily living activities. Suppose person is walking or jogging or crawling or jumping. So these are the different activities, and you'd like to identify these are all the temporal patterns, because whatever sensor that you are going to use, if it is a wearable sensors, suppose if you are using this IMU sensor to capture this data, for each instance of time you will get the different type of data. If you're using some vision sensor like Microsoft Kinect, if you are going to use it, then also for each instance of time you will have the different frames, and each frames will represent these different types of pattern. I mean the pose. Okay, pose of the because each time frame that the different pose that will have. So now these are the things. So now these are the different type of activities that which can be identified or which can be recognized by using this hidden Markov model. Or you can take the example of the waterfall prediction, like this rainfall predictions. Okay, weather forecastings, and in many places that people are using the concepts. It's called the hidden Markov model. And this model is being motivated from there's a sequential machines that is called the finite state automata. But here hidden, here you will see there's a is called that is a hidden Markov model. So it is actually extension of the Markovian chain. So now today I'll only explain to you. So I think this type of diagram is clear to all of you. Like you have seen all these things in from finite state machines or finite state automata. Now in the HMM, you have some W. So W is here. That's a hidden state. Okay, that is a which cannot be perceived, or the perceiver cannot see. So that's what it is called the hidden state. So if you have the three hidden states denoted by W1, W2, and W3, and you have some capital V. Okay, so it is called these observation sequences. Okay, so now this V is called the observation sequences. That is, so you have the three observation sequences like V1, V2, and the V3. Okay, now the person, this the model, or yes, or system, that is called the theta, that you can consider. If it is in t-1 iterations or t-1 time, if the model is in the ith state, then after do some transitions from one state to another state, there will be some transition. Suppose the model is in state in W1, but with taking some input, it has to go to the W2. Now, from going from W1 to W2, there will be some transitions. Okay, so now if your system is in W1 at t-1 time, and then by taking an input, it goes to other state W2 with tth time, then there should be some transition. Now these transitions is called you can have the transitions probability, that here it is considered. So now this transitions probability, that is considered at a Aij, means from the model goes from state I to state J with the probability Aij. So that's why if a state, if you have the three hidden states W1, W2, and W3, now there may be some different transitions. So if I write A12 means the model, if your model goes from W1 to W2, then the transitions probability will be A12. Now if your model goes from W2 to W1, then the transitions probability will be the A21. Now if it is W1 to W3, then you have the transition probability will be A13. If a model goes from W3 to W1, then the transition probability will be A31, so on that you can have. Okay, now here next you will have that for each hidden state that is called this perceiver, or I mean each hidden state will emit some output. Each hidden state will emit some output symbol that is called the observation sequences. Okay, now the W1, so if your model is in W1, now the W1 will generate different observation sequences, or W1 will emit different observation sequences with the probability. That is the important. Now from the W1 you can have observation sequences V1, you can have observation sequences V2, you can have observation sequences V3. Now what is the probability that the model will generate the observation sequence V1? That is B11. This is called the emission probability. So as it emits an symbol, or as it emits an output symbol, that is V1, then to generate this output symbol from a particular state or a particular given state, it will incur some probability. I mean, what is the probability that this state will generate this observation sequence V1? That is B11. Okay, B11 means this state number 1 generates this output symbol 1, that is B12. Now what is the meaning of B12? That is the state number 1 will generate this output symbol 2, V2, that's a B12. That is called the emission probability. So A11, Aij, it's called a transition probability, and BJK, it is called the emission probability. That is the concept. So BJK, J means for all the states, K means output symbols. Okay, means V1, V2, V3, Vk, and Bij, Jk. So J means particular states. And if these states, if a state, without taking any inputs, if it goes to the same state, then it is called the A11. Okay, A11 means that is you will have, that is a self loop. Okay, or you have the looping. So now W1 will goes to the W1 again, then with the transition probability A11. Now to W2, then that is transition probability W3, that is an 3. Okay, now here it means that now that we have written that what is the probability that Vk, the Vk means observation sequences. Okay, V1, V2, V3, Vk, as I already told you, and Wj. So now given Wj, what is the probability that it generates the observation sequences? That is Bjk. So Bjk is the observation sequence, or Bjk is observation probability or emission probability for which this state Wj will generate the observation sequence Vk. So that's why it is written probability of Vk, because you have to compute this. What is this probability to generate the output symbol given the state, that is Bjk. Now the summation of Bjk is equal to 1. Okay, means whatever observation sequences that it is going to generate for the particular state or particular given state, then if you just sum them all the emission probability, it will give it to the 1. So similarly for the transitions probability, whatever state transitions things are there from one state to another state, okay, that when you're going to propagate, then this transition probability will be for all j, Aij is equal to 1. So this is very important things. Okay, summation of Aij is equal to 1 for all I, and summation of Bjk is equal to 1 for all j. So this is for this temporal pattern recognition. So now in the second diagram, you could see that in the first diagram, you can see that one state can go from each other. Okay, but the moment if you find that this is my output state, that there is a W naught, then you cannot go back from the output state. Moment you can define, so this is my output state. So now you cannot go back from output state to from the other states, that you cannot do. So that is why it is written. So, or you can say it is a perceiving state. If you find, or if you determine, or if you identify this is a perceiving state, now from the perceiving state you cannot go back to the other states. So that's why it is written. If you are concerned the W naught is my perceiving state, then that if you see that, so there is no arrow from W0 to W1, W0 to W2, W0 to W3, that you cannot have. Okay, and the rest of the things it is there that you can have, that is it can generate that V0, because if you're assuming that from the output state or perceiving state will generate this one output, that is V0, so it should be V0, and where to generate this V0 the W00 is equal to. So these are these things temporal in the temporal pattern recognition that we used to follow the diagram. Next is there is a, I just wanted to tell you there is a 3 important problem. So it is a actual structure of the hidden Markov model. So basic definition of the hidden Markov model. What is the mathematical definition of the HMM? So here you can have the transition probability, you can have the emission probability, you can have the stressed different hidden state which is denoted by W1, W2, W3 till Wj. Okay, and you have a set of observation sequence V1, V2, Vk, and you have transition probability and you have the emission probability. So these things are there. Now these are the 3 central issues that people are using. I mean, people are tackling the central issues. Now, whenever there is a central issues are there are 3 central issues that people are using. One is called the evaluation problem. That is a very important problem for HMM. Next is called the decoding problem, and another one is called the learning problem. So there is a 3 central issues for this hidden Markov model. Now in the evaluation problem, this theta is given to, theta means is your HMM model. So this HMM model can be described using this parameter. W is your hidden states, V is your observation sequence, okay, and Aij is your transition probability, Bjk it is your emission probability. So now you have to compute what is the probability of generating the observation sequence given the model theta. You have to compute what is the probability of generating the observation sequence Vt given the model theta. That is called the evaluation problem. Now the Vt was generated by this model theta. Now if you are going to solve the multi-class classification problem, and if you have this multi-class theta 1, for each class one hidden Markov model will be generated. Theta 1, theta 2, theta 3, theta 4, because you have to develop it. Next is called the decoding problem. Okay, now decoding problem means that you have to find, this is a means what is the states, I mean what are the hidden states that you have found out which led to generate the observation sequence. That is called the decoding problem. Okay, I mean what is this most likelihood sequence, or sometimes that we will be using this term, what is the most likelihood sequence, or what is the most likelihood hidden sequence, which or you can say in this way that what are the most likelihood observation sequence that you have generated from the given hidden state. That is called this decoding problem. So most likelihood term is there, you have to apply the most likelihood probability. What are the most likelihood this probability for generating the observation sequence given this hidden states. Next is called the learning problem. So learning problem, and this is very important, where the W will be given to you, and W means is your hidden state and V means is your observation sequences. Okay, and you have to estimate these two parameters Aij and Bjk. So that is the three important problems that we will discuss. Okay, in a couple of lectures. First is called the evaluation problem. Next is called the decoding problem. Another one is called the learning problem. In the learning problem, you have to learn. For the learning, we'll have to apply the Baum-Welch algorithm. One of the important algorithms is called the Baum-Welch. That is called the learning problem. Okay, so you need to train the system in such a way that whenever unknown patterns, unknown temporal pattern is coming, then it will most likely to generate the observation sequence given the model theta. Okay, or given the hidden states. So now for the decoding problem, that is used for the testing. For the training, you have to use this Baum-Welch algorithm. For the testing, you have to use this Viterbi algorithm. For the decoding problem, so I will be explaining to you. This is a Viterbi algorithm. So Viterbi algorithm for decoding problem, that is called the testing, and Baum-Welch algorithm for this training. Okay. So these are the things that we have already seen. That is a hidden units in the HMM for transition between them. That we have already explained it. So from the Dudard book that is taken here, there is a whatever that I have already explained to you. You can take Bjk is equal to probability of Vk given this Wjt. Three problems are associated: evaluation problem, decoding problem, and the learning problem. So now I will start one by one each and every problem from tomorrow onwards. Okay, so I'm stopping it today. Next class onwards, so I'll discuss it. Thank you so much.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Sir, can you please repeat what you told if we have more than one minimum values in the distance matrix in dendrogram example?
More than one minimum value, yes. Then you have to choose arbitrarily any one of them. Okay. Then you will have two different dendrograms. Okay. You have to use this. Yes, I was expecting the answer, because if you find the 0.5 and 0.5, so you can do arbitrarily any one of them. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Thank you.